Oh, another brilliant example. You must check for red flags. Now I could just sit here and read the news about red flags. And let's be honest, this goes both ways. Women need to check red flags from dudes. Because again, there's the players that are playing, and then everybody else is pretty much getting ghosted. But there are some really weirdo dudes out there. I've seen that too. So I'm not just going to put this on women or on guys, but fellas, I'm telling you, I'm surfing through and I find a couple of stories, and I'm not gonna make this a super long video. But I do want to talk about this a little bit, to the point where, look, it's one thing when guys, because it used to be like when I was back in my 20s, maybe even my beginning 30s, if a woman had a couple of red flags, like she might go a little nutso on you and key your car if you lied to her or fooled her, or she felt that you were being dishonest with her. I never had that happen to me. I have had some friends that hooked up with girls in the club, and all of a sudden the girls assumed that they were serious, hot and heavy, and he's like, nah, man, it was just casual, and then the girls freak out. Like, that happens. But now we're seeing where, again, women are doing very heinous, awful things to men. Many times they're let off the hook. Many times their jail sentences are super short if they get anything at all. There was the TikToker, I talked about this in another video, the TikToker that took a blade, plunged it into her boyfriend's back once or twice, to where they had photos of it sticking out of his back, which means she came at him from behind. She didn't have a mark on her, although she said he was doing things to her as well, although there were no marks on her. And she got parole. She never got put into behind bars at all, even though that's literally with a deadly weapon, right? Well, first, a couple of these, again, the dating apps, the talking with people. This is a guy that was talking to a girl, and she says, and anybody that talks in third person, by the way, whether they're neckbeards or these weird girls that are like, oh, my lady, he tips his hat and takes a deep bow and lays his trench coat over a puddle for her to walk on. Get away from those people. And if you guys do that, stop it. You sound weird. It makes people very uncomfortable. Well, she did it to him. She says, blushes and lifts the front of my skirt to show a moist pair of panties. Aloe needs help. I guess maybe her name is Aloe. And he's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm ending this here. The correct response to that. And she says, end your life while you're at it. It'll be fun. And he goes, oh, whoa, okay, chill. And she's like, end yourself. That escalated from she's being a little flirty to telling me to off myself in 0.2 seconds. This is why you've got to vet for these red flags now, because you guys have seen society. You guys have seen what's going on out there. People are getting weird, really weird. And again, this is the same thing. Oh, a guy giving a compliment about her dogs, and she's like, you're ugly. He's like, okay, thanks. You're gonna have to vet. I'm telling you, you've got to vet for these red flags. And I do these stories because I want you to see how bad it could go for you if it really does go bad. Sure, most of the time, nothing's going to happen. Like she just gets angry with you or maybe shames you on social media. A Minnesota mom gets 25 years for ending her boyfriend's life when she wanted him to stop talking. She took out her long-range hole puncher, a little pew-pew action, and took out Don Juan Butler in her apartment in March 2020. Now, she said, well, he did bad things to me, but that's unproven because they charged her. And because she wanted him to stop talking, according to prosecutors. I mean, defendant said she wanted him to stop talking, so she put one right between the eyes into his head. The two met on Plenty of Fish dating app, but Butler, a convicted felon, so he's not a good guy, moved into her apartment and almost immediately began doing bad things to her. And they show her here with marks on her face or crying or punches. I don't know. And you know something? If he did bad things to her, he should be in jail. He shouldn't have been released. I'm not giving any guy a pass on that. And supposedly he's really a horrible person. But it all goes back to the point that she decided to date him. She decided to let him move in. She decided to let him be a part of her life. And yes, the bad things happening to her is not fair and it's not good. But yeah, she took him out. But she knew. My point is she knew he was a bad guy, but it didn't matter. She had the tingles for him. I'm not going to read a ton of these, but I just want you to see when things go bad. Mother, 24, is jailed for life after putting a blade in her boyfriend until he was no longer living at a New Year's Eve party when he accused her of cheating on him. She's 24. He was 31. He basically said, I think you're cheating on me. And she's like, here, take this blade and catch it. She looks a little scary. These are when things go bad. There were 4 kids in the apartment when she did it. And this is her and this is him. If you saw that couple out having dinner, you wouldn't expect anything. She looks like the girl next door. I'll read a couple more and then I'll wrap it up. But you get the ideas here. Confessions of a Homewrecker. People who've ruined a marriage own up, including a woman who sent a male escort to her boss's house because she wanted his wife to leave him. That's one. I mean, she sent a professional to the guy's house to get so that the husband would, I guess, get in trouble with the wife so that they would break up and then the guy would be single and then this woman would have a shot with him. Here's some of the snapshots of this. I slept with my partner's best friend, who is also my best friend's husband. So she slept with her partner's best friend. So her, I will say husband or boyfriend. She slept with her boyfriend's best friend, and it was also her best friend's husband. I mean, really? I was doing spicy stuff with a man I met online. His wife pressed over the phone. His wife pressed redial on the phone and knew he was up to no good when she heard me on the line. Did I just ruin a marriage? And they've got example after example after example of this. And you might say, yeah, but okay. So what? We know this kind of stuff happens. It's because this stuff is now getting out in the papers. This stuff is now being reported on. This stuff is, it's making it onto, whether you want to call the Daily Mail or the Mail UK, Mail Online UK, the Sun, the Star. Some of this stuff, though, is making it to the New York Post or the Washington Post or some of the more proliferated. I'm trying to use a word I'm not using right. Some of the more popular. There we go. I like big words, but sometimes, something's not right. They're appearing in larger publications that are more popular that are news. Why? Again, because they're trying to write a narrative. Cheating is okay. Doing bad things is okay. Men are not worth being good to. Go ahead and cheat on them. Go ahead and do awful things. This has been in the news in bigger and bigger cycles, and that's important to remember. There is a narrative here, and it's about making men feel worthless. I did a video on this one, too. Man wrongly accused of taking advantage, forcing himself upon the writer of Lovely Bones, author Alice Sebold. That's been overturned. How long was he in jail? 44 years, I think they said. 40-something years. So a guy that didn't do anything wrong to this lady gets 44 years in jail. Then it comes out, they find out, oh, he actually didn't do this. We'll release him. He gets no money. He gets none of his 44 years of his life back. She becomes a millionaire writing a story about the book about this happening to her. So even though this guy didn't do it, he spends 40-some-odd years in jail. She writes a story about it happening to her. She becomes a millionaire and gets her story adapted to movies and everything else. And she apologizes to him. What happens to her? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. We joke a lot, but society is okay with crapping on guys. Society is okay blaming things on men. Society is okay when women attack men. A lot of times they're not punished. Where if a guy now, in the UK at least, says something derogatory, he can be held as being misogynistic. So if he says something mean, he can go to jail. If he says something mean, she can put an 8-inch carver into your back and not do any time at all. If you don't see the hypocrisy of that, if you don't understand there's legitimate danger out there for you in the dating world, you have to be careful and look and vet for these red flags. Because if you make a bad choice, it could legitimately be the end for you. Again, if you're here on YouTube, make sure to join me over on Rumble and betterbachelor.locals.com for the dating profile of the day, because YouTube hates me and they hate you because they don't want me having fun here anymore.